Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the UCF Soccer Complex. Tonight's match between the visiting Memphis Tigers and your UCF Knights. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is senior night. Let's welcome our 2019 seniors. Jennings and Richard are accompanied by Cousteau, Jeff and Kathy, with grandparents Wally and Vicky, with girlfriend Lucas and TJ Campbell. They'll be welcomed by Director of Athletics Danny White, Deputy Athletic Director Scott Carr, and the UCF coaching staff. Jennings will graduate from UCF as one of the program's leading scorers. He scored his 40th career goal in the team's win over Stetson and has compiled 95 points through his 4 seasons. He is currently 4th all-time in career goals scored at UCF, and 5th in career points. Cal will be graduating a semester early. Will walk away from UCF with a degree in nonprofit management and a minor in sports business management. He is a 4-time all-academic team honoree and has made the Dean's List 6 times and earned a spot on the President's Honor Roll. He has spent time volunteering with Athletes in Action, the Tim Tebow Foundation Night to Shine, Orlando City Soccer, and many other organizations. Richard is graduating with a degree in interdisciplinary studies and a minor in information technology. He was an all-academic team honoree for 3 of his 4 seasons. He spent a great deal of time off the pitch, volunteering with organizations such as the Boys and Girls Club and Athletes in Action. One of Richard's favorite memories as part of the team was scoring 2 goals in the debut of
Can you hear me, Carl?
Grand Canyon University on the road.
Sorry, it locked me out.
6,000 fans. Richard would like to give a big thank you to UCF, as well as Cal and Jennings' family, for giving them a place to call home. Fans, please join us in thanking Cal and Richard for everything they have given to the program. Go Knights, charge on!
The final weekend of the regular season in American Athletic Conference men's soccer, and what a match we have in store for you tonight on the American Digital Network. 1 versus 2, UCF in Memphis. Here in Orlando, the Knights, last year's regular season champion, are looking to repeat, but they are in for a stiff test tonight. The Tigers of Memphis in town. Glad to have you with us. Take a look at the standings here in the American, and very tight, particularly in that top 4. UCF 4-0-1, Memphis right there, as are SMU and Temple. And it's a situation where any slip up and you may well be overtaken for that first spot. All on the line. Who will host this year's championship? Well, we may know more at the end of this one. Glad to have you with us. We welcome you to Orlando alongside Thomas Garensway. I'm Kit McConico. And Thomas, this is a match that you dream about. 1-2, just 2 matches remaining in the regular season. 2 of the top offenses in the country, and UCF, their highest ranking ever, number 6 in the nation.
Well, this is a matchup that I've been paying really close attention to as the season progressed. Both these teams have been flying high, so I'm really excited to see how this one turns out. I mean, it could go either way.
It could indeed. Thomas, let's take a look at your keys for this one first for the Tigers.
Well, I'm saying don't let the wheels fall off. The Tigers come into this matchup having lost 2 of their last 4 matches, while the Knights haven't lost since their first match this season versus Wake Forest. Memphis has a giant opportunity to overtake possibly the most talent-rich team in the conference for first place, and can't let their recent losses affect their confidence.
Now your keys for the home team.
Well, they definitely have to stay mentally sharp in defense. While it's undeniable that the Knights know how to stick the ball in the back of the net, they've only kept 5 clean sheets this season. This Memphis front 7 can and will capitalize on even 1 lapse in concentration.
Speaking of putting the ball in the back of the net, take a look at your key players for the Tigers.
First off, of course, is Sam Ashton. The Portsmouth native has been on a tear this season, scoring almost every other game. He's a big leader for the squad, and he really sets a tempo with his huge work rate.
Your key player for UCF.
Of course, who else? Jennings. Jennings has been a dominating frontman since his sophomore season. Now a seasoned vet, he's a senior. He's full of confidence in front of goal. He's going to be more than a handful for this Tiger defense and midfield to deal with.
Senior night in Orlando, and what a matchup we have on the American Digital Network, UCF and Memphis, when we return.
Take a look at the University of Memphis. You'll see a diverse and inclusive campus, a focus on innovation, a culture not just about education, but action. Then look closer. You'll see that the University of Memphis has one of the nation's top internship programs, where you get real-world experience with global companies and leading research hospitals. Because an internship should be the catalyst into a lifetime of career highlights. See yourself exploring, creating, doing at the University of Memphis.
When we say charge on, we commit to do extraordinary things, to put in the work, to be smarter and stronger, to let them know we're coming. Charge on! Charge on!
Undeniable.
Bernie scores!
3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year.
Cousteau from 30!
Unbelievable. And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
Undeniable.
We're back to Orlando. Fans getting ready for tonight's matchup between the top 2 teams in the American. And what a matchup is going to be. But first, pause for the playing of our national anthem. blockbuster matchup and a national anthem befitting the occasion. Glad to have you with us here on the American Digital Network alongside Thomas Garenzoy. I'm Kid McConico, and for the first time tonight, we head down to the sideline to check in with the third member of our broadcast team, Andy Wantor.
Thanks, Kit. Well, like you said, this is a blockbuster matchup. And while both of these teams have already made the AAC tournament bracket, that pressure is not off. The game tonight really matters where it comes to seedings and potentially who could even host the tournament. As Coach Calabrese said perfectly, he says pressure is a privilege, and they are so excited that they're in this opportunity. Both teams see tonight as a huge must-win.
Thank you, Andy. And it is just that. Neither side resting on their laurels. Both understand that a victory tonight, well, they may well host. As you take a look at Scott Calabrese, what he has done his time here. Last year's regular season champion, last year's coaching staff of the year, and he has 2-star All-Americans, Jennings and Perez as well. But they are, as we've said numerous times, up against one of the top teams. The reason Memphis is number 2 in the conference. And Thomas, what a turnaround from Memphis from last year to this year. Memphis, they were 6th in the regular season last year. Right now, they're 2nd.
Well, it just speaks to the character of this team. You know, they are fairly young, but they do have mature players, especially with Sam Ashton up top. He really is a vocal leader up there. He loves to press. He loves to hustle. But this team just seems to be very cohesive and very together.
Ashton, your key player, the first double-digit scorer the Tigers have had since back in 2012. Ready to get underway. Tigers in the black. The Knights at home in the silver. UCF women's team victorious last night on this very pitch in the war on I-4. They got a win over their rivals of USF. Men looking to make it 2 in as many days underway here in Orlando. And a very warm welcome to you wherever you may be joining us from on the American Digital Network. Glad to have your company on this Friday night. Thomas, you would expect both of these teams, they want to start quickly, but you and I looking at the stats, very hard to differentiate because they're so similar on both ends of the pitch.
Absolutely. It was a little hard to find storylines for our Open today, at least for me. Both these teams so evenly matched, very, very deep and talented, 2-star strikers, very talented midfield that does chip in with assists. So it's very easy to see why this game is so big and why these two teams are in the positions that they're in.
Parker Lackland, sophomore goalkeeper from Dallas out of Richardson High School, got an early touch. Memphis looking to knock things around early on. Both coaches paying the other compliments, saying they played the game the way it should be played. It's entertaining. Neither side parks the bus even when they get a lead. These two teams so similar. Well, if you look at the records and how many times, well, the last 3 times they've faced each other, it has been 1-1-1. 6th year for Richard Moroni, but born and bred in Memphis, and very happy to be the head coach of that side right there. He knows about the city, knows about this program, and he says last year we had a little success. The players tasted it, and instead of resting on their laurels, that has really spurred them to the success that we've had so far this season.
It also helps when you're such a successful player. Obviously, Richard Mulrooney being a former FC Dallas and Houston Dynamo player among a couple of other teams. So when you have that sort of experience as a player playing in the top flight of American soccer, he brings in just so much maturity and really guides his team into how to win.
Lots of Bewberry there, number 11, able to win the throw. Offensive foray here for the Knights. And now they're going to mark it at the corner. So the first set piece coming, it'll be for UCF with the corner. Tomas Ness, sophomore from Norway, up to take it. Good service to the back post, no one there. UCF first in the conference, and that now their 100th corner taken this year. And a team that dangerous in set pieces, and they understand more and more goals coming via the set piece, less through the run of play, and they're very good at taking those opportunities.
They do love to attack down the flanks, and Jennings just eats up the kind of service that they provide. The 2 wingers down each side, they really love whipping the ball into the box, and Jennings definitely loves to stick the ball in the back of the net.
Big ball from Roberts, the captain from Liverpool. Able to get it up to Ashton. His countryman switches field over to the far side. At the edge of the 18, looking to make something happen. A wall of Knights there defensively. Still able to find service across the box. Barry all the way back to win it. Memphis applying pressure, trying to keep UCF in their own third. Able to find Jennings as the defender there, and as you might imagine, he will this entire match. The Tigers are going to be very cognizant not to let Cal Jennings find open space.
It was a good job by the Tigers to put pressure on his back and not allow Jennings to turn, and ultimately turned into a turnover in the Tigers' favor.
So throw coming for Memphis. Cal, the freshman defender from Jamaica. There is Cal Jennings, senior from Roswell, Georgia. Jennings leads the American 12 goals on the year, 10th in the country. This one headed up, danger yet to be cleared, finally knocked away by UCF. Memphis able to maintain possession. All the way back to Lackland.
It's a bit of a loose touch.
Jennings there to apply pressure. Lackland lucky to get it away. Tigers recycling things and just miscommunication. Hal not making a run. Didn't realize that ball intended for him. Both teams trying to find their footing. 5 minutes in. Neither real opportunity for either team thus far. Back with Yannick Ertl. Ertl, the junior from Munich, Germany. Ertl, a 1.2 goals against average, 18 goals allowed this year. He's made almost 50 saves.
You see Sam Ashton urging his teammates to press. You see he really wants to have possession of that ball. Memphis, both teams really possession-based clubs. Sam Ashton looking to start quick, fast, and in a hurry. Try to put pressure on these Knights.
Yeah, both possession-based, both play to feet. You're not going to see a lot of their long route one ball from either side. Good ball in here to the 18. That one soars over the crossbar, an opportunity, and UCF unable to put it on frame.
That was really well worked. We're going to see it again here. Good play down the right-hand side, and one touch and a shot. And that's the right thing to do in that situation. Try to make the goalkeeper work early.
Gino Vivi, the freshman from San Jose, Costa Rica, one of a contingent of Ticos here for the Knights. Started to make a pipeline up from San Jose here to Orlando. Andres Hernandez Betancourt, the sophomore. The two actually played in their home country before moving on to play for the same collegiate side. UCF up that center third. Now out wide at the boots of Mendoza. Barry. Switching things up to the top, Sorokin. Perez trying to find it through. Looking for Ness, good ball in.
This is a wonderful build-up play so far from the Knights. You really do see how confident they are on the ball.
Well, normally you would think the home team may have a bit of an advantage, but Memphis unbeaten, a perfect 5-0 on the road this year. Considering they are just 4-3 at home. But a lot of coaches say it's easier to play on the road. You're able to control the environment a bit more. Keep the distractions to a minimum.
Pressure's off as well because you're almost expected to struggle when you're away from home. So
Memphis 10-4, the first 10-win season since back in 2011. They've already beaten two teams in the top 10. A victory over then 10th-ranked Xavier, beat the Musketeers in Cincinnati back on the 14th of September, and they beat then the third-ranked SMU Mustangs in Dallas on the 10th of October. So both those top 10 wins, both on the road.
It really does, again, just speak to the character of this squad, Richard Mulroney, as well as the coach, you know, really rallying his troops when they're away from home, and especially against a team as great as SMU have been. It's actually kind of surprising to see how high Memphis have been flying lately.
We had the opportunity to speak with him earlier this week, and he said, this is just that. It's an opportunity. You get to play a match like this, to get into an opponent like this with so much on the line. This is what any player dreams of. Memphis able to win it back, trying to get numbers forward. Played here to the near touch line, but no one able to get on the end of it.
You do have to have that positive mentality in big occasions like this. You know, if you let the occasion sort of get to your head, it's usually when you sort of freeze and, you know, you don't perform to your maximum potential. Great
run through, unable to find that final ball onto Jennings. We've seen that for both teams. Good build-up, but the final ball not finding its target.
He had a little bit of space in front of him as well, so he probably could have taken the ball a little bit deeper into that Memphis Tigers half.
Lackland first to claim it, the sophomore goalkeeper from Dallas. Two very good goalkeepers, as you might imagine. Both will surely be tested this evening. Memphis trying to pressure, working for the mistake, maybe a turnover from the Knights. Knights content to play out of the back. Hernandez Betancourt over to the top. Looking for Barry, collides with the defender. Both just trying to make a play, and there's a Tiger down on the pitch who appears to have taken the worst of it. That collision with Hatabu Barry.
We're going to see it again here. Nice lofted ball over the top. Oh, that's a tough one there. That definitely can happen, especially with two teams like this and two players that are giving it all there. They don't want to win the ball in the air.
Another look, big collision just 10 minutes in, both trying to make a play. Barry and Howe, the freshman from Jamaica, Malik Howe, and Hatabu Barry, the junior from Paris. Howe still down on the pitch, being attended to. Both teams getting a break from the frantic pace early on. Scoreless, just under 10 minutes in. But Thomas, we take another look at the scenario for tonight. Should the Knights win, they would clinch at least a share of the regular season conference title. That would secure them the #1 seed in the conference tournament, giving them a bye in the first round. As you take a look at the conference standings for Memphis, if they come up victorious tonight, they would take control of the top spot with just one conference game remaining on each team's schedule. But as we said, SMU, Temple, they are in the mix as well, right there. And this is exactly what you want. Final two matches of the season, 4 teams in the mix to see who's going to be the regular season champion.
Definitely, and if you're Memphis, the pressure isn't just to take first place. It is to put some distance between Temple and SMU, two other great organizations that could absolutely be in the same positions as the Knights and the Tigers are in tonight.
The quality of play up and down throughout the American, obviously longtime heavyweights like SMU, Memphis, they want to get into that conversation as well, not just looking for a winning season or two. These teams, they want to become programs, the teams that you see in the tournament each and every year. Malik Howe, freshman from Kingston, Jamaica, transfer from New Mexico, came over when the Lobos disbanded their program, down on the pitch. We'll take a quick break. 10 minutes in, scoreless between Memphis and UCF. Back to Orlando after this.
Take a look at the University of Memphis. You'll see a diverse and inclusive campus, a focus on innovation, a culture not just about education, but action. Then look closer. You'll see that the University of Memphis has one of the nation's top internship programs, where you get real-world experience with global companies and leading research hospitals. Because an internship should be the catalyst into a lifetime of career highlights. See yourself exploring, creating, doing at the University of Memphis.
When we say charge on, we commit to do extraordinary things. to put in the work, to be smarter and stronger, to let them know we're coming. Charge on! Charge on!
Undeniable.
Bernie scores!
3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year. Cousteau from 30!
Unbelievable. And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
Back in Orlando, scoreless, 10 minutes in between UCF and the Tigers of Memphis. An injury timeout as we take a look at the upcoming broadcast here on the American Digital Network. And we now know the Women's Soccer Championship, that will be in Memphis. So mark your calendars, November the 7th through the 10th. Men's Soccer Championship still to be determined. The result tonight will go a long way in figuring out where that is going to be played. And the Women's Volleyball Championship, that'll be right here in Orlando, goes to last year's regular season champion, November the 22nd through the 23rd. A busy few weeks in the American. A lot of champions being crowned. One crowned today, the first fall champion, as there were cross-country championships in Memphis. Malik Howell down on the pitch, the freshman from Kingston, Jamaica. He collided earlier with Hatabu Berry. A ball played over the top, both trying to make a play on it. Neither saw the other in head-to-head collision. Always scary stuff.
Well, he was talking earlier, and he seemed to be running some concussion tests, I'm sure, on the field, but there has been some movement.
Safety first and foremost, as it always should be. The bright future that all these young men have off the pitch. You consider what they're able to do on the field, and their future dwarfs that. How being attended to. Some of the local youth players here in attendance tonight enjoying themselves. Should either coach run out of substitutes? I think they have a few. Always great to see the young players out here. The future of this game. Fans enjoying themselves here. Senior night. Trainers, doctors out attending to Hal. Neither side able to really find anything. There were no real opportunities. The one shot from UCF skied over the crossbar. Memphis unable to trouble Ertl into a save thus far. We head down to the sideline to check in with Andy. She has an update.
Well, it is going to be taking a while here tonight. They are actually waiting for an ambulance to come to the UCF soccer field to take off Malik Howell. They will not be proceeding with the game until the ambulance arrives.
Thank you, Andy. So Howell down on the pitch after the collision with Berry. An ambulance on its way to attend to the freshman from Jamaica.
You hate to see this, and normally you see injuries like this in something that's a little bit more contact oriented like football, but this absolutely can happen. And anytime you're playing a physical game like soccer, accidents do happen. And it's very unfortunate when it does, especially when it happens to a young freshman in the beginning stages of his career.
So an ambulance has been called, making its way here to the field for Malik Howell down after the collision. We'll take another break. Stick with us here on the American Digital Network. Coverage of Memphis and UCF continues after this.
Welcome into the ADN studio for a quick look at the Americans' top headlines. I'm Haley Out. In football, SMU quarterback Shane Buechele was named the Walter Camp National Offensive Player of the Week. He passed for a career-high 457 yards and 6 touchdowns in a 45-21 win against number 25 Temple, keeping the Mustangs undefeated. Buechele became one of 5 FBS players with at least 6 touchdown passes in a game this season. In women's soccer, with 2 goals this past week, USF senior forward Evelyn Vienne set a new conference record for career goals with 62. She has already broken the record for career points and ranks 5th in the nation this year with 14 goals and 31 points. In men's soccer, Memphis beat then number 3 SMU on Friday, which was the first loss for the Mustangs this season. It was the highest ever ranked win for Memphis in program history, and the Tigers have now set a new school record with 5 straight road victories. UCF is still unbeaten in league play and have not lost in their last 11 matches. They held off UConn Sunday in overtime. In UCF's past 2 games, freshman Gino Vivi has scored the golden goal to get the wins. In volleyball, Houston's Rachel Toulos registered 17 total blocks against Cincinnati on Sunday. Toulos set an American record, breaking the previous mark of 13. Her 17 blocks were the most by any player in a single match this season at the Division I level. Toulos went on to win the league's Defensive Player of the Week honors. To keep up with the Americans' top news and notes, make sure to follow along on Twitter at American_Conf.
Take a look at the University of Memphis. You'll see a diverse and inclusive campus, a focus on innovation, a culture not just about education, but action. Then look closer. You'll see that the University of Memphis has one of the nation's top internship programs, where you get real-world experience with global companies and leading research hospitals. Because an internship should be the catalyst into a lifetime of career highlights. See yourself exploring, creating, doing at the University of Memphis.
When we say charge on, we commit to do extraordinary things, to put in the work, to be smarter and stronger, to let them know we're coming. Charge on! Charge on!
Undeniable.
My name is Chris Paul, and I am a Computer Information Systems major and Cybersecurity minor at the University of Tulsa. I am an offensive lineman on the football team. It's important to me to get a college education because higher education opens up a plethora of opportunities. In 5 years, I would like to see myself in the NFL or as the United States Secretary of Defense. Two very different spectrums. I became a member of SAC because I truly enjoy being involved within my community and within my school. Hidden talents. I can really sing. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that I have the pipes, but I can really belt out a couple of notes. The way it's set up right now, I don't really think I'm prepared for that. Rain came, baby.
My name is Kira Damas, and I'm a Master's of Statistics student at the University of Connecticut. I am recently retired. I used to be a defender on the lacrosse team. It's important to me to get a college education because, number one, I love to learn. I'm a big dork about learning anything and everything that I possibly can. In 5 years, I see myself as owning my own statistical consulting firm. My heroes, which it's totally cliche, but my heroes are my parents. I became a member of SAC because I love to help people. I'm really good with my hands at things, like I'm building a table for my apartment. I used to be in honors art classes. The best advice anybody has ever given me is accept the fear of failure. Don't be afraid to fail because it's not failing, you're just learning. Go Huskies!
Scores!
3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year. Cousteau from 30!
Unbelievable. And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
My name is Claire Embry. I'm a medically retired volleyball player, and I am an advertising PR. My name is Claire Embry. I'm a medically retired volleyball player, and I am an advertising PR student at the University of South Florida. It's important for me to get a college education because a college education is knowledge, and if you don't have knowledge, you can't grow in this world. And so I just always, that's like the highest value that I really have, so I'm actually going to get my master's degree also. In 5 years, I don't have a certain idea of exactly what I want to do. I have 2 different paths, but I know I love sports, I love communications and advertising and public relations, and also connecting with people throughout like the sports administration, so we'll see where things lead me. The best advice anybody's given me is probably just to be yourself and shine through and not let anything hold you back from your dreams and goals. I have several hidden talents. I'm really good at spinning a ball on my finger, so it's kind of my party trick. Go Bulls!
Take a look at the University of Memphis. You'll see a diverse and inclusive campus, a focus on innovation, a culture not just about education, but action. Then look closer. You'll see that the University of Memphis has one of the nation's top internship programs, where you get real-world experience with global companies and leading research hospitals. Because an internship should be the catalyst into a lifetime of career highlights. See yourself exploring, creating, doing at the University of Memphis.
When we say charge on, we commit to do extraordinary things, to put in the work, to be smarter and stronger, to let them know we're coming. Charge on! Charge on!
Back in Orlando, Malik Howell, freshman defender from Kingston, Jamaica, down on the pitch for the Tigers of Memphis. He collided with Hatabu Berry. Long ball played over the top. 2 collided, and Howell immediately down on the pitch. Ambulance, EMS now out there attending to him. And again, safety first and foremost. Take another look at the collision.
Such a tough one. When you see 2 heads collide like that, especially when you see Barry's head jerk forward, you see how much intensity was in that challenge coming from behind, and that's why we see Howes, with struggling as much as he is. Barry seemed a bit unscathed, other than maybe a bump tomorrow morning, but with Howes, you see the intensity of that jump.
That's cliche, but it really is moments like this when you realize that athletics, they're secondary, sometimes tertiary. Howell's coach, Richard Moroni, looking on.
Head injuries really are the worst, kind of injury to sort of have. Of course, obviously, bones heal and ligaments heal, and you can have surgery, but it's really tough when it's something, above the neck.
Rooney very concerned with his players. You might imagine, 6-year head coach. His team has made great strides. Teammates over, giving a word to Hal. Jackson Morris, the captains. The fans giving a well-deserved round of applause to that young man. A very bright future on and off the pitch. A fantastic defender. You just hope that everything is okay. There's the man he collided with, and as you said, Barry showing no ill effects, possibly maybe knock on the head tomorrow. The trainer staff, they checked him out thoroughly, but unfortunately that was not the case for Malik Howe, now being taken off the pitch by the EMTs. We try to turn our sights back to the match, as difficult as that is, with Malik Howe obviously in the, not the back, but the forefront of everyone's mind, certainly his teammates. Barry, who says he's ready to go. They will give him another concussion protocol testing just to make sure. And back to the action, less than 10 minutes in, scoreless. You wonder how that injury to Hal affects both of these teams. Certainly, it's going to be difficult for his teammates as they're going to be thinking about him. You would imagine it's going to take a bit of time for both these teams to work their way back into it.
Of course, and UCF was a bit on the front foot before that injury. And you see they're on the front foot again here with Jennings.
Jennings, All-American ball to the top of the 18, not finding a teammate.
Looks like they're trying to pick off where they left off before that injury. As I was saying, they were sort of on the front foot, putting a ton of pressure on this Tiger defense. Did get a shot off. It wasn't on goal, but an early indication of their intentions.
Memphis the other way, looking to serve one in. Not the off-ball movement Memphis is looking for, able to retain possession. Now the service into the 18, easily cleared away by UCF, but right back to the Tigers. They will get another opportunity in the possession.
Well, you love to see both these teams. You see the commitment that they have to playing the ball to feet and keeping the ball sort of, obviously that pass was an exception, of course, as I mentioned it, but keeping the ball playing to feet, keeping the ball on the ground, and not giving the ball away too much, keeping possession, and not just possession for the sake of it, but quality possession going forward.
Delalo, the freshman from Quebec, whistled with the foul coming from behind. Jeremy Delalo, a lot of contact there. Back on his feet, trying to shake it off. Luke Biasi, sophomore midfielder from Buford, Georgia. Thomas, you're exactly right. Both these teams, a similar style. They play the attractive. You can call it the tiki-taka, whatever you want it to be, but it is 1-2 touch. They find the triangles, those quick passes. And as talented as they are across the pitch, that is difficult to defend. It's the reason they've been so successful, but running into a very quality opponent for both these teams tonight.
Again, just not possession for the sake of possession. Both these teams look to get forward. They look to hit the ball in the back of the net, of course. And they absolutely have the talent to do so.
Barry back on the pitch. Hatabu Barry, the junior from Paris, who collided with Hal. They were taking extra precaution, as you might imagine. Barry able to pass all of those tests, and now back on the pitch. He'll take the place of Jeremy Delalo. Going through that time, Yanis Learman. Across over to the far side, looking for Barry, gets a touch. Barry, great running at defenders, one-on-one. Barry into the box and out. They're going to say Barry last to touch it, so just a goal kick.
Great defensive play there by the Tigers, and Barry showing off his individual skill with the step over. Just takes a bit of a long touch, and the Memphis Tiger defender comes in with a beautiful tackle and ultimately comes off of Barry for a goal kick.
Great tackle, going to ground to win it. Memphis, long goal kick, trying to get numbers forward. We've already seen that from Memphis. There's definitely a disconnect between the forwards in the midfield. Those midfielders so focused on defending against this high-powered Knights offense, sometimes having trouble getting numbers forward when they do have the ball.
And by contrast, the Knights, whenever they don't have the ball, they do a great job at tracking back and defending, giving the Tigers no options. You see a poor cross there in the end, and that's really a tribute to how hard of a defensive work rate, or how much of the defensive work rate the Knights have.
Biasi unable to send it in. Ertl takes the goal kick short. Looking to play out of the back. Down the touchline, over the top. Jennings closest to it, but unable to dispossess. Now the other way, long ball, Memphis, opportunity here at the edge of the 18. Big collision, the referee says the foul will be against the Tigers.
That was an incredible ball from midfield. Beautifully weighted ball over the top, down the left-hand side. We're gonna see it here again. Beautifully curled ball into the path of the left winger. Puts on the jets to get to possession, but eventually takes one too many touches before trying to put the ball into the box, and eventually the Knights draw a foul and get out of trouble.
Herman Songa, chance here, Tigers. Looking to the near side, Peter Chang, redshirt freshman from Colorado, couldn't get a touch. Now up the other way, promptly given away. Jennings looking for reinforcements. Cuts back in, Jennings still on his feet. Jennings wins the free kick, a dangerous area. And maybe the best opportunity thus far for UCF.
It's a great bit of individual skill from Jennings. We're gonna see him here looking for a pass, in trouble, gets out of it 1-2 times, gets nipped at his ankles, and of course, the referee was gonna play advantage. Ultimately, Jennings does go down and draws a very dangerous free kick.
Ward Hunt, redshirt freshman midfielder from Johannesburg, South Africa, the man who committed the foul. Now the question is, who will step up to address this one for the Knights? Tomas Ness there with the 23 on his back, alongside Perez. Big save, trying to get the rebound, and what a save. Lackland on the spot.
Perez with a fire rocket of a free kick. Unfortunately, right at the goalkeeper, we're going to see it here. Almost surprised him.
Perez took it quickly. Lackland unable to hold on to it, allowed a rebound. The man closest to it was Yanis Learman, but he couldn't redirect it in goal. Now the corner. Headed low, into the box, deflected again. 2 opportunities and still scoreless.
That's another 2 huge saves from Lackland. 1 point blank. Doesn't know much about it. It sort of gets a deflection off of him, and then a nice foot save on that second shot.
What a job from the sophomore from Dallas. Still the Knights sensing the opener, but the flag is up for offside. Lackland, 3 massive saves in that sequence, 2 on this corner kick alone.
First off, that was a beautiful cross into the center of the box, and Lackland, you see, gets a little bit of touch off that first shot, and then a nice foot save there in the second one. Beautiful positioning from him.
Ball finds itself in touch. Quick throw taken by Mendoza.
And you see the sense of urgency just prop up in the Knights. They have their tails up here. They know they have opportunity to capitalize on this momentum.
Knights sensing the opener. The best stretch thus far. 3 good shots on frame, and they certainly would have found the first goal had it not been for Parker Lackland and his 3 fantastic saves. Memphis would be well served to slow things down a bit, try to get some possession. Top side looking to flick it on. Knights with it, calling for it in the center. Perez still open. Ball deflected to a Knight on the outside, looking to serve it across the box. Takes another deflection. UCF with it at the edge of the 18. All the way back, Mendoza. Wisely pulls it back. Hernandez Betancourt. Oh, off the side of the boot, maybe Perez just trying to do a bit too much there. Couldn't find his intended pass.
It doesn't work out on that sequence, but great movement off the ball from the Knights. That is how they're going to break down this stingy Memphis defense.
Last 10 minutes of play since the injury to Malik Howe, it has been all UCF looking for the opener. Shot from long range off the back of the head of a Tiger defender.
That was a hard shot. It opened up just for a second there. Fortunately, couldn't get a shot on goal.
Still UCF with possession.
Great ball from the back.
Plays through to Barry. Barry cutting in. Barry across to Jennings. They're going to say it's a goal kick for Lackland and the Tigers.
Two great through balls in sequence. And ends up with Barry being in the box. We're going to see here again. Again, outpacing his defender. Puts in a very dangerous ball. And Jennings actually does get a flick off of it. And it looks like it came off Lackland, but the referee ultimately gives a goal kick.
That is where Barry is at his best. One-on-one, running at defenders, making things happen. Just find that sliver of space. Still the Knights able to win it back. Very little possession in the last 15 minutes from the Tigers.
And Barry not only has the speed and agility to get past his defenders, but he also has the touch and the technical skill to do so.
Perez off to Barry. Barry almost finding a teammate cleared away, but right to a Knight.
It's great vision again by Barry as well. Jennings is expecting the ball, but Barry sees that back post late run. Tries to get the ball to his teammate, but unfortunately, again, Memphis defenders there, and they're being fairly resolute, at least in the last few passes back there for Memphis.
They've had to be. Vivi, the one who that pass was intended for, cleared away by the Tigers. Now Barry. Looking for space to serve it in. Taken away, and Barry frustration as he commits the foul.
Barry showing a little bit of individual skill there. Ultimately ends up holding back the Memphis defender and conceding the foul.
Christoforos Cortese, the junior midfielder from Cyprus, able to win it back and then promptly fouled by Barry. Scoreless, just about halfway through the opening 45, and that is because of Parker Lackland, the sophomore from Dallas. Some massive saves. Conversely, his counterpart, Yannick Ertl, junior from Germany, has not been forced into a save thus far.
Yeah, and he's one of the better goalkeepers in this conference, of course, and hasn't been called into action yet, but we're going to see what happens here in this corner kick, what kind of delivery they can get into the box.
Tigers yet to put a shot on goal. Can they find one here? Big set piece. Cortese to take it. Cortese into the mixer, headed straight up, no trouble for Ertl.
Fortunately, couldn't get it past the first defender. That's the first little opportunity for Memphis to make that goalkeeper work.
Yannick Ertl, who's played every minute for the Knights. Now almost 1,400 minutes between the posts this year.
Definitely an experienced goalkeeper, and his communication is just as important as the communication between the defenders. He really does sort of make sure they're all organized back there, and he is, the type of player that is a leader and likes to take charge.
Dosa down the line, unable to find his target. He's looking for Perez. Headed through, but Chang unable to get there. Simply a goal kick for Ertl. Almost a poor giveaway.
Very dangerous ball there, especially with someone like Sam Ashton lurking around.
A bit too casual there from Ertl. Very content with the ball at his boots. I think all Bavarian goalkeepers want to be Manuel Neuer. Looking through. Jennings. UCF turning the screws bit by bit. Sorokin now taken away, but the Tigers have had trouble getting anything going offensively. Ashton. Excuse me, McNatt rather. You see the frustration from the Tigers' lack of off-ball movement. Nobody making those runs.
Absolutely, no one sort of dropping back. All of the attackers are sort of sitting on the same end line, or the same line as the defenders. Not really moving much off the ball, or dropping back and looking for the ball for a pass.
The longest stretch of possession Memphis has had in some time, but then the big cross-field ball on target.
This does take the sting out of the game a little bit. It does take the momentum a little bit from UCF and puts in a little bit more neutrally, or a little bit into the favor of Memphis.
Chang almost lost possession. Back with the captain Roberts. Give it away.
Again, it does take someone like Cal Jennings to track back and defend. Again, the work rate of this team is just so high. It's a big reason why they're so successful.
You see it from everyone, the seniors, the freshmen. It's a point of pride, and when those underclassmen step on campus, they understand from day one what is expected of them. Hernandez Betancourt. Down the line, Barry there. Barry looking for the return ball. Able to battle back for it.
Great ball.
Into the 18, shot coming. Another save from Lackland.
What a great run down that right-hand side. Again, the fullbacks looking to get forward and apply that pressure onto the Tigers. That's going to be a big key for those outside backs to defend against. We're going to see first touch gets a shot on goal with a big save from Lackland. Again, forces another scary and dangerous corner kick here from UCF. They do put quality balls into the middle of that box.
Jonathan Dean, redshirt senior from Macon, Georgia. The defender pressing forward, able to win the corner, into the mixer, all the way to the back post. No one there. Dean puts it back in.
These are such quality balls from those corner kicks. Fortunately, this time they can't get ahead on it.
Dean, hand in the air, looking for service, but one back by the Tigers. Can they find something in the counter? Chang. To the back post, has a man there. And wisely shepherded out of bounds. The Knights happy to concede the corner.
There was someone wide open back post there. Tries to put the ball back across the goal. Ends up finding a UCF defender, but does draw a corner kick. This service does have to be a lot better than the first one. First corner kick they had didn't beat the first defender, so we'll see what they can do here on their second attempt.
Coach Mulrooney told us that his team has to take the opportunities when they present themselves. He understands in a match like this, if you have a chance to put one in the back of the net, you absolutely have to. Good service in, and the header just off.
Another look, Christoforos Cortese. He does get a solid header, and we're going to see it again here. Great ball in the box from Cortese, and couldn't see who got on the end of it.
Missed opportunity. Still scoreless as we head down to the sideline to check in with Andy.
Well, UCF has definitely had the momentum since the injury. They have had all the passes and all the possession. As Coach Calabrese told me before the game, he's never worried about complacency with his team, and this is the best chemistry he has ever seen of a team, either on and off the field. This team just comes together so well during adversity, and it has been showing in the way that they are holding on to the ball during this first half.
Thank you, Andy. That chemistry, a very large reason that they have their highest ranking in program history, number 6 in the country. You hear it time and time again, teams that are close off the field, well, you see it on the field. They enjoy spending time together, they're on the same page, and that is definitely the case for the Knights.
Absolutely, you can tell they all trust each other when they're on the ball. Beautiful first touch there. They also recognize what kind of runs each player wants to make, and that really does come with just time on the field and, of course, liking each other and wanting each other to be on the ball.
Barry turns it over. Knights looking to win it back immediately. Lackland out to claim it. So far, UCF out shooting Memphis 5-1. 3-0 shots on goal. Tigers have yet to put one on the frame of Ertl. Corners 4-2 in favor of the Knights. And that's where the best opportunities have come, arguably, for both teams.
Absolutely, and of course the Knights having the better of those opportunities, but Lackland coming up big with a few saves early on in this first half.
Jennings tried to play it through, well read.
That really is the game plan for these Knights. You know, Jennings loves to drop back and slide the ball into into the wingers who are going to be making diagonal runs.
Quarter of an hour remaining, scoreless in our first half between the top two teams in the American men's soccer standings. UCF 4-0-1, Memphis 4-1. Number 1 and 2 of battle, and you wondered how things would shape up. There are your conference standings. UCF, Memphis, SMU, Temple, all in the mix. With that early injury to Malik Howell, stretchered off the pitch. Ever since it has been UCF, you know, Memphis certainly thinking about their teammate. They like nothing more than to get him the victory here on the road tonight. Again, glad to have you with us alongside Thomas Garensway, Andy Wantor, I'm Kit McConico. Happy Friday evening to you. A very warm welcome wherever you may be joining us from on the American Digital Network. For both these teams, just one more game in the regular season remaining after tonight. They're not worried about that next match, both in action on Tuesday. It is all about tonight. UCF seniors hoping to go out with a win. So far, looking the better of the two sides, more possession, more chances, but they have yet to find an opener. Down the line. Well read, the Tigers defense, it's done its job, as has their goalkeeper, Parker Lackland. Looking for Jennings, that one knocked away, that time electing to keep it on the ground. Richard Mulrooney, 6th year there as the head coach of the Tigers. Born and raised in Memphis, a graduate of Creighton, but he said he's very happy to be back in his hometown. And they're very happy to have him, that much I know for sure. Great MLS career, a lot of that in the Lone Star State with Houston and FC Dallas. So a few pleasantries exchanged after the foul, we'll say.
Sam Ashton with some nifty footwork around the box. does take a nice first touch and a penetrating run. Draws the foul and a dangerous opportunity here for the Knights.
Ashton, the senior from Portsmouth, England, transfer last year. He's trying to catch up, coach said, to the speed. This year, that has not been an issue. We saw a great save on a free kick on the other end of the pitch, and now a chance for Memphis.
McNatt looks to be setting this up. It looks like he's going to be the one to take it, even though Chang is there as well.
McNatt, redshirt junior from Germantown, Tennessee. Chang steps over, McNatt right into the wall.
Not what you want to see from the first free kick in and around that area, in and around the box. Straight into the wall. Doesn't trouble the goalkeeper. And it's another missed opportunity for Memphis.
Few and far between the opportunities for the Tigers, and that's one right there, Thomas, where you at least have to put on frame.
Absolutely, you got to work the goalkeeper in those situations, especially when, like we've been saying, UCF does have most of the momentum. They do have the most of the quality possession. That was an opportunity for Memphis to really swing the momentum back into their favor.
Unable to trouble Ertl into a save. Now UCF the other way. Knights, edge of the box. They've been patient, content to swing things around, maintain possession as they do here.
You really see here a sense of urgency from Memphis, putting pressure on the ball. This back line, not letting possession be so easy for the Knights, which is a good thing.
Mendoza finds a teammate in space there in the center. Ness moves it on to the top side. Everyone wearing black behind the ball defending. Barry, space, what can he do with it? Step over, edge of the box, loses his footing. But able to win a corner. Or they're going to give him a free kick. We'll have to wait and see. Take another look. Barry.
Did look a little bit like the defender tracked him down. There's a great free kick won there from Barry. Again, he's going to do that right-footed step over and go down the end line every time. He's done it. He hasn't drawn in on that right foot, so that's something that defender needs to read and really not show him that way down the line to get across in.
So far, Hatabu Barry, the Parisian, he has been the one on offense for UCF, getting everything going from this near side. He wins him a dangerous free kick. Tomas Ness, sophomore from Grimstad, Norway, to take. Puts it in, Lackland able to parry it over.
It's great awareness from Lackland. Of course, in a position like that, you really are probably looking for, the cross, but Ness, with the ambitious effort on goal, forces a save from Lackland.
Corner for the Knights. To the edge of the box, able to get to it. Knocked out for the throw. That's the first time we've seen a corner from UCF that hasn't been exactly where they wanted it.
Looking for somewhere back post, and unfortunately no one there, but Jennings does get the head on that one. Goes straight up into the air. UCF looking to pin this Tigers defense back. They're not going to let him off the hook here in the last 8 minutes.
Barry again, his second defender comes quickly, and I have a feeling we're going to see that from Memphis for the rest of the game. Anytime Barry gets the ball in space, they are not going to let him go one-on-one.
Absolutely, you're going to see Chang track back a little bit more, maybe a defensive midfielder slide over, try to make it a tackle attempt on Barry. He has been dangerous this entire game.
Not unable to keep it in, just trickled over the touchline.
Nifty there from the defender.
Money Sorokin with the deft touch and the foul. We may see the first caution of the match. We are indeed. It's going to be on Peyton McNatt, I believe, who sees yellow.
And that was just a revenge sort of for his teammate.
McNatt, the Tennessee native, transfer from Northwest Mississippi. Sorokin, now you see me, now you don't, around one, and McNatt, a clear foul from behind, is riding up the back of the junior from Israel.
Some cheeky play there from Sorokin. McNatt having none of it. It's also sort of to stop a bit of momentum going forward because Sorokin did have a bunch of space out in front of him. He does have a knack for creating chances.
A lot of times you'll take a professional foul in that situation, but you're hoping to get out of it without seeing yellow. It was not the case for McNatt.
Well, generally those types of fouls where you're stopping momentum going forward do draw that yellow card.
No clock stop, 7:21 remaining in the half. Yoni Sorokin down on the pitch, junior from Jerusalem. Already a bit of a shiner under that left eye.
He was complaining about here. Absolutely dragged down. Maybe caught a boot or something to the stomach, maybe to the groin even, as they both got tangled up.
Sorokin will have to come off, at least momentarily. But able to come off under his own power, and that's always a good sign. Just over 7 minutes remaining in our first half. It appears that it's going to be a senior taking the place. It'll be Richard Amon, the senior from Accra, Ghana. Amon on for the first time, and Tigers will take the opportunity to make a change of their own. Tigers still looking for their first shot on goal. Just 2 shots here in the first half. Conversely, UCF 6 shots. They put 4 of those on frame. UCF happy to send that one out for the throw. Amon, the substitute, gets an early first touch. Big ball out of the back, down the line, searching. Jennings the target. Can he track it down?
It's good defending there from from Memphis. It was Ben Roberts. Brilliant use of his body to shield off Jennings, and Jennings is no slouch. He loves to put pressure on their ball like that and win possession back, especially in dangerous areas.
Captain from Liverpool, able to use that big body to shield Jennings off the ball. Wins the free kick, just under 6 minutes remaining in the half.
That's a skill in its own that all center backs have to have, and that was a beautiful display of it from Ben Roberts.
Chang. Out with Dexter, the substitute. Vernon Dexter recently on, the freshman from Oregon City, Oregon.
That's the first save. That was the first save there for UCF, and it wasn't a powerful header, but at least it was something. It was a decent ball in, but not a huge deal there for Ertl on his first touch.
It has been a very routine first 40 minutes for Yannick Ertl. It's been a lot busier for his counterpart, Parker Lackland. Another ball down the line. Amon closest to it. Unable to find a way around Biasi. Jackson Morris, senior, another Texan out of Plano West, I should say, a Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex native. Thomas, it's just been difficult for Memphis to get anything going. We see 1, 2, maybe 3 good passes, but they haven't been able to string together an extended possession, whereas UCF just knocking the ball around. They're dictating the pace, the style of this. It's all in favor of the home team here in the first half.
A lot of the work really is done off the ball. Offensively, when UCF have the ball, they're great at off-the-ball movement. Everyone's working for each other, looking for the ball, wants to have possession of it, doesn't shy away from it. And defensively, they really are very organized. Everyone running with their runners whenever Memphis is on the attack. And it really just shows the cohesion of this Knights team.
Mendoza. Looking again for Barry, headed on. Mendoza unable to get the back heel to himself. And it will be a corner. The question was, where was that contact made? Our referee says it was going to be in bounds. Take another look. Great head from Barry.
And that was a great run, and that's something you wouldn't have expected from Barry, to take that first touch and it be a pass. You know, you think he'd take control and run down that end line.
Corner taken short. Lackland out to claim it, climbing the ladder, the 6-foot sophomore.
More great goalkeeper from Lackland, which is being, you know, more and more what you expect whenever UCF does get forward.
Again, Knights able to get numbers behind the ball. The work rate from the home team, impressive. Under 3 minutes remaining in the first half. Will we find a goal, or will we go to the break scoreless between the top 2 teams in the American? Barry, nice overlapping run, able to find his teammate. At the boots of Vivi, the freshman, looking to return the favor. Barry, no one there.
And that ball was looking for Vivi if he had continued his run forward. And it wasn't a bad idea there from Barry.
Lackland trying to get some offense started. There's not been a numerical advantage in that final third for the Tigers tonight.
This UCF side is really quick in transition as well. You see how we talked about their work rate and be able to track back, but their ability to switch from offensive to defensive positions is impressive.
Looking for space to serve it in. They're going to say that one off a Tiger. Just a goal kick for Ertl. Thomas, what stands out to me for UCF, the fact that they're able to keep their shape so well, moving up and down the pitch as a unit, and that is difficult at any level. Big tackle from behind. Referee says play on.
That looked like a foul to me, honestly. We're going to see it again here probably. Surging forward, and Chang doesn't get much of the ball, if at all, any. No matter though, UCF, of course, back in possession, playing the ball forward from the back.
Just under a minute remaining in the first half. Knights working, doing everything they can to find a goal before the break. Barry again, and 2 defenders in the vicinity quickly. Mendoza switches, looking for Amon. Jennings has not seen much of the ball, and credit the Tigers, their defense has done a good job, particularly on the All-American Cal Jennings.
Right, well, but UCF isn't really even working the ball in the center of the field. They're really doing their best to spread the ball out wide and use players like Barry, who's probably been their most dangerous attacker. Jennings has really kind of been starved of possession, and you're right, that could be just great marking by the center backs and defensive midfield of Memphis. But they really have had, or UCF, excuse me, really has had a lot of success down the flanks.
A scoreless first 45 minutes between the Knights and the Tigers, the top 2 teams in the American, as we head down to the sideline to check in with Andy.
Coach Calabrese, a couple of great Memphis saves, but you got to be happy with the level of possession that UCF was playing.
Yeah, I thought it was a good first half for us. we were able to possess the ball. I thought we created a number of really good chances, and we didn't get the goal, but we have to continue to replicate what we did in the first half.
Is that what it's going to be, is just replicating and hoping that the goalie doesn't keep the saves up?
Yeah, I mean, we have to do that and then do better. And we have to, when we get the chance, we've got to be really good in that moment and finish our chances. But, we also have to worry about Memphis and their direct play. They pick up second balls. They had a really good chance on a corner. They're very dangerous when they get the ball wide and they cross the ball in the box. So, they're a threat. We need to make sure we continue to deal with that well.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
All to play for in the second 45 minutes. Scoreless between UCF and Memphis at half.
Welcome into the ADN studio for a quick look at the Americans' top headlines. I'm Haley Out. In football, SMU quarterback Shane Buechele was named the Walter Camp National Offensive Player of the Week. He passed for a career-high 457 yards and 6 touchdowns in a 45-21 win against number 25 Temple, keeping the Mustangs undefeated. Buechele became one of 5 FBS players with at least 6 touchdown passes in a game this season. In women's soccer, with 2 goals this past week, USF senior forward Evelyn Vienne set a new conference record for career goals with 62. She has already broken the record for career points and ranks 5th in the nation this year with 14 goals and 31 points. In men's soccer, Memphis beat then number 3 SMU on Friday, which was the first loss for the Mustangs this season. It was the highest ever ranked win for Memphis in program history, and the Tigers have now set a new school record with 5 straight road victories. UCF is still unbeaten in league play and have not lost in their last 11 matches. They held off UConn Sunday in overtime. In UCF's past 2 games, freshman Gino Vivi has scored the golden goal to get the wins. In volleyball, Houston's Rachel Toulos registered 17 total blocks against Cincinnati on Sunday. Toulos set an American record, breaking the previous mark of 13. Her 17 blocks were the most by any player in a single match this season at the Division I level. Toulos went on to win the league's Defensive Player of the Week honors. To keep up with the Americans' top news and notes, make sure to follow along on Twitter at American_Conf.
Take a look at the University of Memphis. You'll see a diverse and inclusive campus, a focus on innovation, a culture not just about education, but action. Then look closer. You'll see that the University of Memphis has one of the nation's top internship programs, where you get real-world experience with global companies and leading research hospitals. Because an internship should be the catalyst into a lifetime of career highlights. See yourself exploring, creating, doing at the University of Memphis.
When we say charge on, we commit to do extraordinary things, to put in the work, to be smarter and stronger, to let them know we're coming. Charge on! Charge on!
Undeniable.
My name is Chris Paul, and I am a Computer Information Systems major and Cybersecurity minor at the University of Tulsa. I am an offensive lineman on the football team. It's important to me to get a college education because higher education opens up a plethora of opportunities. In 5 years, I would like to see myself in the NFL or as the United States Secretary of Defense. Two very different spectrums. I became a member of SAC because I truly enjoy being involved within my community and within my school. Hidden talents. I can really sing. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that I have the pipes, but I can really belt out a couple of notes. The way it's set up right now, I don't really think I'm prepared for that. Rain came, baby.
My name is Kira Damas, and I'm a Master's of Statistics student at the University of Connecticut. I am recently retired. I used to be a defender on the lacrosse team. It's important to me to get a college education because, number one, I love to learn. I'm a big dork about learning anything and everything that I possibly can. In 5 years, I see myself as owning my own statistical consulting firm. My heroes, which it's totally cliche, but my heroes are my parents. I became a member of SAC because I love to help people. I'm really good with my hands at things, like I'm building a table for my apartment. I used to be in honors art classes. The best advice anybody has ever given me is accept the fear of failure. Don't be afraid to fail because it's not failing, you're just learning. Go Huskies!
Scores!
3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year. Cousteau from 30!
Unbelievable. And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
My name is Claire Embry. I'm a medically retired volleyball player, and I am an advertising PR student at the University of South Florida. It's important for me to get a college education because a college education is knowledge, and if you don't have knowledge, you can't grow in this world. And so I just always, that's like the highest value that I really have, so I'm actually going to get my master's degree also. In 5 years, I don't have a certain idea of exactly what I want to do. I have 2 different paths, but I know I love sports, I love communications and advertising and public relations, and also connecting with people throughout like the sports administration, so we'll see where things lead me. The best advice anybody's given me is probably just to be yourself and shine through and not let anything hold you back from your dreams and goals. I have several hidden talents. I'm really good at spinning a ball on my finger, so it's kind of my party trick. Go Bulls!
Take a look at the University of Memphis. You'll see a diverse and inclusive campus, a focus on innovation, a culture not just about education, but action. Then look closer. You'll see that the University of Memphis has one of the nation's top internship programs, where you get real-world experience with global companies and leading research hospitals. Because an internship should be the catalyst into a lifetime of career highlights. See yourself exploring, creating, doing at the University of Memphis.
When we say charge on, we commit to do extraordinary things, to put in the work, to be smarter and stronger, to let them know we're coming. Charge on! Charge on!
Scoreless at halftime in Orlando between the top 2 teams in the American. Opportunities, but neither side able to break through. As we take a look at our first half highlights.
Again, Lackland just coming up with massive 2 saves. He comes with another 2 saves on this next sequence. And Barry being dangerous on that left-hand side. Does draw. Has been dangerous the whole game.
Out of you, Barry, the most dangerous for UCF. They had the opportunities. The Parisian, another good ball, but it was all about Parker Lackland, the sophomore goalkeeper from Dallas, able to keep his side in it. Some outstanding saves from that young man. and a beautiful job able to parry that one over the top. The opportunities, chances in favor of the Knights. Out shooting the Tigers 6-3, but scoreless at the break. Stick with us second half when we return.
Take a look at the University of Memphis. You'll see a diverse and inclusive campus, a focus on innovation, a culture not just about education, but action. Then look closer. You'll see that the University of Memphis has one of the nation's top internship programs, where you get real-world experience with global companies and leading research hospitals. Because an internship should be the catalyst into a lifetime of career highlights. See yourself exploring, creating, doing at the University of Memphis.
When we say charge on, we commit to do extraordinary things, to put in the work, to be smarter and stronger, to let them know we're coming. Charge on! Charge on!
Undeniable.
Bernie scores!
3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year.
Cousteau from 30!
Unbelievable. And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
Welcome back. Halftime in Orlando. Scoreless between the top two teams in the conference, Memphis and UCF. Opportunities, but neither side able to break through. We take a look at the upcoming broadcast here on the American Digital Network. Women's Soccer Championship. Well, the site has been set. That will be in Memphis. Men's Soccer Championship site still to be determined. And the Women's Volleyball Championship will be right here in Orlando, as last year's regular season champion UCF hosting that November the 22nd through the 23rd. Alongside Thomas Garenzoy, I'm Kit McConico. Glad to have you with us. Thomas, obviously the injury to Malik Howell there in the first half, the freshman defender from Kingston, Jamaica. You have to think that that had a big impact on his Memphis Tigers. But it was UCF that was unable to take advantage. All the chances, all the possession shots, but couldn't find a goal.
I really am a bit surprised at that as well. You know, I figured this matchup would be a little bit more even going into halftime. Of course, it's 0-0, but UCF really with the command and possession and having much more of the dangerous opportunities. Memphis, you know, seemed to be a little bit reserved and, you know, obviously a very defensive shape. They almost had to be with the amount of pressure that UCF was putting on them. But I'm going to look for the Tigers to come out of halftime. Richard Mulroney will definitely put some, not just encouraging words, but definitely some tactical changes, of course. And I think it's going to be a bit of an uptick for Memphis Tigers, and they're going to have to capitalize on that.
It needs to be. They need some possession. Saw very little of it. Hard to do much with the ball when you don't have it. It was all UCF, but again, couldn't break through. These two sides so even their last 3 meetings. A win, a loss, and a draw. Just what you'd expect, and tonight's shaping up along similar lines.
Right, it's 0-0, but I'm really looking for goals here in this next half. I think Cal Jennings for UCF has to be a bit more involved as we see him here warming up. You did see him get on the ball a few times, but he was having to drop a bit deep into the midfield to get that bit of possession. They did have a lot of success going down the left-hand side with Barry. He'll probably continue to be involved. He'll have to be. He's absolutely one of their more dangerous players, but I think Cal Jennings does need to be on the ball a little bit more to really, you know, put them over that line and get a goal. Beautiful Spectrum Stadium, home of night football.
right across the street as we get ready for our second half of action here in Orlando. A beautiful night in the Sunshine State, and glad to have you with us on the American Digital Network. Warm welcome wherever you may be joining us from. Knights back on the pitch, getting ready. And they are waiting for the Tigers to join them. There's Cousteau, the man from Paris, certainly the most dangerous offensive force for the Knights in the first half. He was the guy who made it all happen, running at defenders from the near side. I have a feeling that he is going to see a lot more of it. Cal Jennings, the All-American, the senior from Roswell, Georgia. Just couldn't find any space there in the center of the pitch. They did a very good job keeping him marked. As we now head down to the sideline to check in with Andy and the Tigers head coach.
Camera.
Coach, obviously not the kind of first half you wanted as far as possession and play, but can enough be said about good things about Parker and the way he saved all those different chances?
Absolutely. Obviously, he's got a ton of experience being a true freshman last year playing, getting the shots tonight. And yes, not pleased that he had to come up with those saves, but you need your keeper to do that. And in saying that, not totally displeased with that. I know we defended a lot, but in saying that, that was sort of our plan. Obviously, attacking-wise, we've got to do a better job of holding the ball up. We've had a couple opportunities, but I think if we possess the ball a little bit better in the middle, we'll put them on their heels a bit, and I think we'll have a little bit more success.
With Malik's injury in the first half and then UCF kind of taking over the possession of play, what did you tell your guys in halftime to get them motivated for this second half?
Yeah, obviously it's still 0-0. You know, maybe not our best first half, but in saying that, still in the game. I think, again, we can do a little bit better on the attack. Defensively, we're solid. Started to bend a little bit, but we didn't break. And I think UCF is starting to get a little frustrated, although I don't want to give them too many more chances or that much possession on the ball or else they'll punish us.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Possession in the midfield, something the Tigers desperately need, and I think Coach is exactly right. Giving UCF that much possession and the opportunities, and it's going to be sooner rather than later when a talented offense like the Knights eventually finds a goal.
Right, well, it's a matter of when, not really if. You know, this team is just so talented going forward, and obviously both teams very defensive, very good defensively. And as he said, Memphis, you know, bent but didn't break in that first half. But if you continue to let UCF have this simple possession that they're having now, you know, the break will come.
Other games in action tonight in the American. USF leading Cincinnati 3-0. SMU on top of UConn 1-0. Temple and Tulsa still to kick off. And things so tight, 1 through 4 in the standings. The UCF in first, Memphis second, SMU third, and Temple in fourth. But both the Mustangs and the Owls a 3-1-1 record.
With that result, if it holds, you know, SMU will really be breathing down the neck of both these teams, but particularly Memphis in second place.
UCF looking to get back to what we saw in that first half where they dominated possession. Barry, a big reason why.
Yeah, he really is just so technical in that final third. Very quick off the ball, great first touch, very talented player.
Very little space in that center third. UCF electing to play to the wings. Amon looking for the return pass from Jennings.
You really do see UCF's patience in possession. They're not frantic. They just hold on to the ball and look for little holes in that Memphis defense. Again, great movement off the ball from them as well.
Dean to take the throw. Looking down the line, unable to find his intended target. Tigers trying to find something the other way. Good ball to the top side. Memphis looking to bring numbers forward. UCF, as they have all night, getting numbers back quickly.
Absolutely. Every time Memphis have had that opportunity to break, and it's happened a couple times in the first half, UCF squash it pretty quickly with their just defensive work rate, their commitment to get back in the midfield, and really just, again, just squash any opportunity for Memphis to break forward.
So you mentioned it there. You mentioned in the first half, the work rate of the midfield for UCF is incredible. They're up the pitch attacking, and almost as quickly when they turn it over, they're back on the defensive side.
In the midfield, of course, but just throughout the team, you know, we've seen Jennings drop into that midfield as well defensively and regain back possession. So both teams, we're going to see it. We see it there again. Just great defensive play from this midfield, and then springing forward in transition. And they have the speed to do so there with Barry.
Barry on cue, looking for Jennings, headed away. UCF thought they'd found the opener, and they would have had it not been from a last-second head from Jackson Morris, the senior captain, on the spot, just able to get there in the nick of time.
Absolutely. Great offensive break there from UCF. Again, winning the ball in the midfield and breaking forward immediately. And Barry, again, being dangerous on that left-hand side, put in a quality cross, if not for that last-ditch effort. I can't speak today.
Played in.
Easily dealt with there from the Memphis Tigers. And UCF will regain possession, and they'll just reset. Again, just so patient on the ball. Really no rush to get forward if they don't have to. Picking their spots intelligently.
The patience of the Knights. Senior night here in Orlando, honoring the seniors and everything they've brought to this program. Its highest ever national ranking, now number 6 in the land. Team with just 1 loss on the season. That came to the then number 4 ranked team in the country. They lost at Wake Forest back on the 30th of August. 2 draws, they've won the last 4.
When you have a streak like UCF, you come into every game with so much confidence. That absolutely does play a factor in every one of their matches.
Unbeaten in their last 13.
Great 1-2 there.
Tigers able to get possession, but you have to think there's some frustration on the part of Memphis, maybe on the part of UCF that they haven't been able to find a goal. But for Memphis, when they get it, they look up the pitch. There's just a wall of Knights in front of them.
Well, it only takes one opportunity, and that's something that the Memphis Tigers can, well, both teams really can hang on to. You know, UCF having so much of the possession and getting forward unsuccessfully. Again, it just takes one opportunity, and, you know, that definitely goes for the Tigers as well. You know, that was an opportunity maybe if the ball didn't go out. You know, the defender really just banking on that it's just going to roll out, but that was great from Memphis there not to give up and try to get a ball into the box. But again, just takes one opportunity. One shot on goal, one mishandling of the goal from the goalkeeper.
So far, Yannick Ertl, the junior from Munich, forced to make just 1 save. His counterpart, Parker Lackland, much busier. Space in the middle. Heavy touch, but still with UCF. Out to Barry. Barry dances back with Mendoza. All the way to the back line, Learman. Searching, finds Jennings.
It's a great ball forward from defense to go straight to your striker. And good tracking back there from Jennings.
Out for the throw, it'll stay with UCF, looking to take it quickly. Dean surveys. Likes to go short. Amon. The man from Ghana, Cunningham inside. Now back with Dean. Final ball just off target. Barry there, but couldn't get to it. Memphis looking for a bit of possession, something they've not had the luxury of in this match. Knocking it around that back line, but you see nowhere to go. Tigers is forced to keep it along that back 4.
Symptom of not enough movement off the ball, and just also just some great positioning there from UCF. You see them slowly and methodically pushing up the field defensively, try to regain possession.
Knights doing a very good job clogging the passing lanes. So far, the center backs just playing others for the Tigers trying to get involved. Finally over the top, able to find one at the boots of DeLuca. Excuse me, rather. Songa. German Songa unable to keep it in, but the throw will remain with Memphis. Songa able to get a touch to it. To the back post and right to Ertl. Quick rollout, Vivi. Amon has some space.
Some more great work there from UCF going forward. You see the ball is at Ertl's hands and in the attacking third of Memphis in a matter of seconds. Great work there.
Dean looking for Vivi, has it taken off his boots. Defense for both these teams has been outstanding. Perez up with Hernandez Betancourt. Learman now. Looking for Perez. Had a big blast in the first half, but he, like Jennings, have dropped further into the midfield here in the second. Flag stays down. Ball into the box. Out with Barry, looking for the shot. Well over the top.
That was great work there from Dean down the right-hand side coming up from fullback. And it was a solid cross. Unfortunately, no one there in the box. Comes to Barry in his left foot. That's the foot he usually likes. Fortunately, just skies it. Memphis are let off the hook again.
10 minutes into the second half, our scoreless deadlock remains between the Tigers and the Knights. One of the better opportunities in the second half there for Hadavu Barry. Just couldn't put it on target. So far, he has been the star for the Knights, and it's been Parker Lackland, the sophomore goalkeeper from Memphis. 3 huge saves in the first half. UCF thought for sure that they would find at least one goal. Lackland able to keep it scoreless.
He's been the player of the game so far for me. If not for him, you know, Memphis would be 3-0 down, of course.
Dean, Betancourt Hernandez. Barry making the overlapping run. They couldn't find him, and they will recycle it. Now everyone for the Knights on the offensive side of midfield.
We love to see this kind of work from UCF. You know, no one on the ball, no one from the UCF Knights is standing still. Everyone working to go and try to find a little gap to sort of gain possession for their team.
Barry into the box, headed away. Up with Ashton, another opportunity, but for the Tigers, again, everyone back defending, so compacted defensively that they just can't get anything going. No chance for a counter.
No big runs coming deep in transition from defense to attack for Memphis, and it just leaves them stagnant. They have to resort to passing the ball back to keep possession, and this has been the story of the whole game. The Knights are going to press and not give any options to Memphis, and eventually regain possession back and look to break forward.
In a match like this, it may well be a mistake that finds a goal. I don't see either side conceding anything that's just not spectacular. DeLuca through, but right to Dean. Thomas, as you said, you saw DeLuca right there. He was just hoping someone in black would make a run off the ball. No one did, and the pass right to a Knight defender.
Right, you don't have any success as a team if you don't move for each other. So very uncharacteristic of Memphis. Because as we talked about in the beginning, you know, both of these teams, a big reason why they're so successful is their cohesion and chemistry between each other. But, you know, UCF is just the one who's on tonight. That being said, you know, Memphis Tigers have been defending very, very hard. They made a couple last-ditch efforts. Lackland with some great saves. That's definitely nothing to scoff at, especially with such a talented group of players going forward for UCF.
Biasi down the line. He's able to find Ashton, who's been forced to drop further and further back into the midfield. Parker trying to switch through. Learman read it well. Now the Knights the other way. Can they get numbers forward? Up to Jennings. The flag raised for offside.
Decent defending there, and Jennings was looking to make that diagonal run in between the center backs. And we're going to see it again here. The ball was just a little bit late, and the Tiger defenders do a good job at holding Jennings offsides.
Roberts, the captain from England, read it well. Did a good job. As you said, just stepping forward right before that ball was played. The offside trap working well on Jennings. Half an hour remaining, but still scoreless between Memphis and UCF. The good news for the Tigers, the Knights not dominating possession as they did in the first half. Not having as many opportunities. Both teams taking the chance to make a few substitutions. Jovan Prado, the freshman from Houston, out of Katie Tompkins High School, just west of downtown Houston, comes on wearing number 9, as will his opposite number, Jonas Smallbach, the freshman from Venice, Italy. Both teams hoping some fresh legs will give them the spark they've been looking for.
Nice substitution. England number 9, Jonas Smallbach. Replacing number 7, Richard Allen.
Learman turns it over. Prado, the searching ball, but too far.
It's the first bit of sloppy passing that I've seen from UCF as a whole, but especially from Learman. He's been pinpoint accurate with all the balls going forward from him. And again, as we talked about before, it just takes one of those little loose passes to give Memphis an opportunity, and they will make you pay for it.
These two teams very patient. Both have played numerous overtime matches this year. UCF is doing what they've done all game long. Possessing the ball, looking for space, but finding less of it than they did in the first half. And for that, you can credit the Tigers' defense. These two teams, top 12 in scoring in the country. Both average well over 2 goals a game.
Ooh, we see a twisted ankle there. That was Luke Biasi, excuse me. Just trying to shield that ball out and just rolls his ankle a little bit there. Looks to be okay, looking to try to walk it off.
Biasi is sophomore from Georgia. Wants to stay in if at all possible. So the all-time series edge held by the Knights, 10 wins, 7 draws, 4 losses. But we mentioned the last 3. It has been a win for each side and a draw. 6 of the last 10, well, they've gone to overtime, with UCF holding a 2-1-3 mark in those overtime matches. Prado. Small ball pressuring. The fresh legs from the new addition here on the near side with Songa.
Chosen to go with a little bit more size in that center forward position, which is a good call. They've had a lot of success down the flanks and maybe not enough size and not enough of maybe a bit of a target man. They move Jennings outside wide, right. He'll look to swing those balls in.
Gurman Songa, the sophomore from Vancouver, BC, offside. Starting to see a bit more pressure from Memphis, a spring in the step. Those new Tiger substitutes hoping to bring some energy to the visitors. Learman. Off to Dean. Dean up through, trying to find space to serve it in. It will be a throw deep in the corner coming for UCF. The fans behind the goal, they will switch, as you saw them on the far side. It's no fun to be behind your own goalkeeper.
Absolutely. I'm sure some pleasantries being exchanged back there. Try to get into the head of Lackland, who's again been excellent today.
Trying to force something, able to get it away. Biasi. Small ball is taken over as the center forward. Now the other way, Prado. Excuse me, rather, Songa able to keep it in. Bit of space opening up for the Tigers. Just one shot on goal thus far in the match. An opportunity goes begging. Final ball not there. Memphis coming off a big 2-1 victory over Tulsa after a 4-1 loss in non-conference, fell to Central Arkansas. Their head coach, Richard Mulroney, said, just didn't have our best game. And you never want to lose a match, but if you're going to lose, it was not a conference match. And he said sometimes that can be a good thing and refocuses your guys. The final 3 matches of conference, and we've seen that tonight from the Tigers. UCF, edge of the 18, tried to thread the needle, wanted the handball. Referee swallows the whistle. Learman flicks it over.
We're going to see here UCF going forward. It looks like it actually hit him in the face, really. We're going to see as he come back. It does hit him, looks like it hit him right in the mouth. So good eye there from the referee. UCF asking for the handball. No chance whatsoever.
A referee immediately pointing toward the shoulder. It looked like it hit the defender up in that shoulder. May have caught him in the chin as well. And those, the rest of his teammates appealing for the penalty. The referee on the spot makes the right call. Give credit where credit is due. Too often referees, we just look at the faults. It's been a cleanly played game thus far, just 1 yellow. Peyton McNatt issued the caution in the first half for the Tigers. The collision between Howell and Barry in the first half. Malik Howell, freshman from Jamaica, he was down on the pitch for some time before he was finally taken off. Thoughts with that young man? Certainly hope he is going to be okay. UCF tried to go through, well defended.
That was a great read.
Switching it, Barry the intended target. Can he get there?
As the game goes on, it looks like UCF are getting less and less potent going forward, and Memphis are more and more confident in defense. They did a great job in the first half to defend everything, and that's going to give that back four tons of confidence to know that they can deal with this front 3 from UCF.
You saw Gianluca Arcangeli, the redshirt freshman from Sao Paulo, Brazil, set to come on. Both teams making numerous changes here in the second. The chess match continues, hoping that one of these new additions will be that spark, the difference maker. But halfway through the final 45 minutes, and still the scoreless deadlock remains. Shots in favor of UCF, 7-3. Shots on goal. The Knights with a 4-1 advantage. A leading corner 7-2, but the only stat that matters, that's scoreless. Zeros for both sides. Lackland there. Jennings, who's relinquished that role as center forward. Now Schmalba, the substitute from Italy, the man up top. Jennings, who was back in the midfield defending for a lot of the first half, and Coach Calabrese has just elected to put him there. You're on the right side.
Well, he does have a good enough work rate, as you just mentioned, to work back and defend when he needs to. But he's just a great all-around, a great all-around player that he can play, wide right and sort of know the responsibilities and do a job there.
Dean unable to get to it. Lackland with a goal kick to come, and now the substitution. Arcangeli, the man from Sao Paulo, comes on. It will be Cal Jennings coming off. You would imagine Jennings is going to get a break, a little rehydration, and we will no doubt see him back on the pitch quickly.
And it will just be, well, we'll see where Arcangeli goes and where he plays. If they maybe look at switching Barry, and it doesn't look like Barry's still on the left, and it might just be a like-for-like switch and have Arcangeli play on the right.
Right now, Schmalba up top on an island. Both these teams resorting to that Route 1 ball much more than we saw in the first half, particularly UCF, as everything was on the ground for the Knights in the first 45 minutes. Not having that success, trying to go over the top.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch, but you see Arcangeli here almost get his first touch. It would be interesting to see Barry come on this right-hand side and maybe cut in on that left foot. He does have a great left foot, so it would be nice to see if he can get a few shots on goal cutting in there from the right-hand side.
Battling for possession in the center third. The foul against the Tigers. A few words after the fact from Christoforos Cortese.
.50-50 challenge. And it was McNatt there, and he's got to be careful. He already is on the yellow card.
McNatt wisely getting away quickly after the foul. Barry back to Learman. Here to the near side, Dean.
Good run. Good anticipation there from the defender.
Tried to thread it through. Arcangeli, the intended target, but it will remain with UCF. Learman. Mendoza. And now it's Memphis playing the pressure game. Tables have turned. They're the ones who are giving UCF less time on the ball.
Learman again, such a good ball-playing center back. Every time he's in possession, he's looking to push the ball forward, possibly get it to one of these attacking players up front.
Able to keep it in. Vivi to the back post. No one there. Lackland happy to claim it.
Again, that final ball really has been the weak point of UCF. They've done a great job at having some really solid build-up play and getting into great positions, but that final ball into the box is where, you know, it's been a bit lackluster.
17:21 remaining, still scoreless between Memphis and UCF. And a Tiger down at the top of the 18. Take another look at the standings. UCF atop the table, Memphis right there, as are SMU and Temple. Those four all in the mix. The regular season conference championship. Who will host this year's tournament championship, I should say. An update. It is still SMU on top of UConn 1-0. The Bulls of USF, they've extended their lead. They now lead Cincinnati 4-0. And Temple and Tulsa have just kicked off. Still scoreless between the Owls and the Golden Hurricane. Ford Hunt, redshirt freshman from Johannesburg, South Africa. An obvious hitch in his gait as he heads to the sideline. Jovan Prado, the freshman from Houston.
After substitution, into the match for the Tigers, number 3, Arthur DeLuca. Replacing number 19, Ford Hunt.
So it'll be Arthur DeLuca, the junior from Sao Paulo, coming on from Memphis, taking Hunt's spot. Previously saw DeLuca up top.
Kicks like a bitch.
Learman tried to shield it out of bounds. He gets tangled up with Prado.
It's good that work there from Prado not to give up on that. Learman just anticipating the ball just going out, but Prado not giving up, trying to make something happen for his team.
That was the question of who was going to be able to put this one on their shoulders. Obviously, you have to play within the system, but who wants to be the star, shine when the lights are brightest? Prado trying to make an impact. Throw will be with the Tigers, just over 16 minutes remaining. The war of attrition continues. Senga unable to keep that one in and looking for DeLuca. He was closest to it. Back to Learman, the stalwart of that back line.
It's pretty impressive how confident he is on the ball. And again, just a very proactive type of center back.
Yanis Learman, 6'2", sophomore defender from France. Like a lot of the international players, has that experience in the youth national team levels.
We can tell because he is just so calm on the ball and very confident in defense. And I'm sure growing up he wanted to be a midfielder because you see it in his play. How much he loves to spray the ball wide and do those long diagonal balls or just straight to feet, straight into Cal Jennings' feet coming forward. So he's been impressive to me so far today.
Well, his all-time favorite player, Sergio Ramos, that's who he models his game after. So far, he's been able to stay out of the book, so he has one up on his hero there.
Yeah, maybe he grew up wanting to be a right back. Of course, that's where Sergio Ramos used to play. Now it's center back for Real Madrid.
Play on the back line, not a bad man to emulate.
That's for sure one of the greatest defenders of all time.
I believe he's now the all-time appearances, or he has more appearances than any player in Real Madrid history, if I'm not mistaken. Looking for Barry. Headed away. UCF, they've been forced to go to the air, and Hatzabi Barry just hasn't got the service that he had in the first half.
Yeah, I really do feel like there just does seem to be, a bit of a dip in UCF's sort of performance. They do need a couple fresh legs. I think putting Barry in the right-hand side, as I mentioned before, would be a really good change-up going forward, because then he's going to be cutting in and trying to get shots on goal. Other than that, you really can just see that, some fresh legs are needed, I think, for UCF. As you mentioned before, who's going to be that player that does put the team on their shoulders and provide that bit of spark?
Here on the back line, Learman. Switches, trying to find it through.
It does, there is a fine line in possession between, patient and calculated and sort of slow and labored. And it does seem like UCF are kind of towing that line, at least lately. Big break forward here for the Memphis Tigers. Good job at taking space.
Here at the near side, Songa across.
Great work there in defense from UCF. Tons of pressure there from Memphis, but casually get out of trouble.
Able to get it up through Cortese. Barry coming back to win it. Mentioned everybody from both sides getting into the act defensively. Dean making a run down the near touchline, instead going to the top. He was looking for Arcangeli. Songa. As we've seen all match long, both teams very content to knock it around. Both sides patient with the ball at their boots. Under 12 minutes remaining. Will we find a goal, or will we be headed to overtime? Both these teams, they are very comfortable in overtime. Both have been there numerous times this year. Thomas, this is the kind of match where you can tell neither side willing to make a mistake.
Absolutely, and we have two very resolute defenses. Particularly in Memphis, where UCF was on the front foot for most of the first half, and they've just been very stingy. And of course, their last line of defense, Lackland, has been great. He hasn't been tested much here in the second half, but in the first half, he came up big on 3 or 4 occasions.
Jennings back on the pitch, and we head down to the sideline to check in with Andy.
Jennings just checked back in, guys, and he got a little bit of a breather there for a while, and he definitely needed that with the speed of this game. But he is very, very important for the Knights to be able to have the attack during this game. Coach Calabrese really said that it's his timing and his vision, his understanding of where he is most dangerous that makes him the most dangerous for the Knights. And it's going to be, maybe it's going to be him that's going to have to step up and put the team on his back.
Thank you, Andy. Yeah, absolutely. There's a reason he leads the American with 12 goals, 10th in the country. He just hasn't had the opportunities, and a lot of that because the man marking him right now, the captain, Ben Roberts, has been in his hip pocket all match long.
Absolutely, Ben Roberts has been immense at that center back position, and he really has, played Cal Jennings really tight, not allowed him to turn whenever he is in possession, and really doing a good job of reading all the runs. Cal Jennings is very tricky and crafty with the types of runs that he makes. But Ben Roberts, again, just no trouble at all with Cal Jennings today.
Roberts, the senior, the elder statesman from Liverpool, England. Transfer from Mississippi College. He has not given Jennings an inch of space tonight. Jennings, no shots on goal. The few opportunities he did have all came in the first half.
You know, he did make a couple runs, and you know, they did put in a couple crosses to try to find him. But again, as we've been saying, Memphis just dealing with all of their attacks.
Under 10 minutes remaining. The top two teams in the American still scoreless here in Orlando between UCF and Memphis. Thomas, the opportunities, they came in the first half. Barry had one here in the second. Ball found him at the top of the box. He sent it well over the crossbar, but really that is the best opportunity we've seen from either side in the second half.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a slower one here. Again, even Barry has, you know, not been as lively. Which is interesting because it's such a great opportunity for a team like Memphis to take first place and again put distance between those other two teams, SMU and Temple. The onus really is on them in a big way.
Speaking of SMU and Temple, Mustangs lead UConn still 1-0 in favor of SMU. Temple and Tulsa just underway. About 10 minutes into the first half, it remains scoreless. And the score update: USF 4-0. They lead Cincinnati. Big matches after tonight. Just one remaining in the regular season. Still the question of who will host the conference championship tournament. That is still up in the air. Coach Mulrooney looking on. Former Creighton man, now back in his hometown after stints playing with the Houston Dynamo and FC Dallas. 6th year as the head coach of the Memphis Tigers. Learman back to Ertl. Ertl forced to make just one save tonight. Learman pressing forward. Unable to find it through. Prado, the intended target. Youngster from Houston. He's been dangerous.
Well, dangerous is maybe a bit generous, but he has worked really hard.
He's been about as dangerous as you can be when you've seen the ball, by my count, 3 times. Thomas, the question I had coming into the second half was, after a first half with very little possession, how would Memphis respond? Would they come out, press the issue? So far, both these teams are not parking the bus, but content to slow play.
Yeah, it just seems like the energy sort of got sucked out of the game a little bit after halftime.
Over the top, able to get a boot to it. Dean there, up with Jennings.
See how deep Jennings has to get just to get a foot on the ball.
On to Vivi, the freshman. Looking through, trying to find space. Arcangeli sneaks it through, and we have found the opener. Gianluca Arcangeli, the redshirt freshman from Sao Paulo, Brazil, came on as a substitute, and he is able to beat Parker Lackland for the first time tonight. The Knights take the lead, just 5:22 remains.
First off, it was a beautiful bit of individual skill here to take Ben Roberts from left to right, fakes a shot. Look at Ben Roberts almost falling down. Beautiful bit of skill there from how do you say it again?
Gianluca Arcangeli, the man from Sao Paulo, the Paulista. comes off the bench and able to put the Knights ahead. Lackland, he had been stellar all night long, but he could not come up with the save there, and now Memphis is going to be forced to throw numbers forward.
Of course, it was a great ball into the back of the net. As you see Arcangeli on the ball again. Lackland gathers that one pretty easily, but it was a great ball in from midfield to even connect with Arcangelis. Of course, it took his little bit of individual skill to put the ball in the back of the net. You wanted to see at least when the shot came off his foot, I expected Lackland to shoot it, or to save it, excuse me. That ball just snuck underneath him.
It was one of those that was so close to his leg, he may have been better served to try to make a kick save in that situation. Obviously easy for us to say up here in the booth.
The lateral movement from Arcangelis is definitely confusing, and you see a defender like Ben Roberts, you know, be taken left to right and almost falling down. It was beautiful to watch.
Just the third goal of the year for the man from Sao Paulo. Lee Perez with the assist, his 9th. To lead all of the Knight players. There's the man who found the opener just over a minute ago, and now time of the essence. Well, that is putting it mildly for Memphis.
And it really is a heartbreaker because they have been so resolute in defense. And again, one opportunity, that's what we mentioned a little bit earlier, just takes one opportunity, one little inch of space to get a shot off. And again, you know, someone as quality of a goalkeeper as Parker Lackland, you expect that ball to be saved, but unfortunately for him and for his team, it hits the back of the net. And UCF, you know, it's kind of a mark of a great team to sort of find a way to win. And that's been UCF all season. They haven't kept many clean sheets, not because they don't have a good defense, but, you know, of course they do, but they've always found a way to win, and that is a mark of a good team.
The reason they are number 6 in the country, a reason they have just one loss on the year, and a reason they are unbeaten in their last 13. Thomas, that was our question. Who would be the one who would step up and make something happen? And it turns out it is the man from Sao Paulo, the redshirt freshman, Gianluca Arcangeli. UCF, not a team that traditionally parks the bus, but you wonder what they'll do here with just 3 minutes left. This is one of the few times you will see a player move a ball back on a free kick.
Take every second you can out of the game.
Ertl. Big ball up to the top. Just finds his counterpart. Looking to go through, ball to the outside, across, Ertl there, and that is just the second save that Yannick Ertl has had to make. A great ball to the top of the 6 and a great save from the junior.
That was absolutely the best opportunity that Memphis have had all game, but again, some great goalkeeping by Ertl, and that's something that you expect from someone of his quality.
Ertl, who's played every minute this season, well over 1,400 minutes now for the Knights. He's made 48 saves.
It's unfortunate there for Memphis. Concede a corner kick, and of course, UCF going to take their time. getting the ball set up and choosing a taker.
Just over a minute remaining. UCF will take every precious second they can off the clock.
1 minute, less than 1 minute remaining. Less than 1 minute remaining.
Taken short in the corner. And out for the goal kick, so UCF trying to waste a little time there. I don't know that that had the intended effect, but it's going to be all hands on deck for Memphis if it wasn't before. Barry has the speed. You'll see if he elects to take it to the corner. He tried to thread the needle through, 30 seconds left. And out into touch. The throw will be with the Knights, and that may well do it. Scoreless for 85 minutes, and a substitute, a redshirt freshman off the bench, Gianluca Arcangeli, with the game winner, the only goal. And the Knights stay unbeaten, 1-0 the final. And the Knights will now clinch at least a share of the regular season title. Last year's winner, they will have a piece of it at the very least this year. They will secure the #1 seed at the conference tournament as we head down to check in with Andy.
Gianluca, you came in for the last 20 minutes or so right before your goal. What did you see to finally get the momentum in and the goal in?
I mean, the whole team was working really hard. And, I mean, it's just an opportunity that the coaches gave me, and I took it. I mean, I've been working really hard, like, this past, 6 months to get this moment to this moment. And I just got to appreciate what they did for me and my team just backing me up all the way. We have our moments, but as you can see, we are all like a family. And I'm just happy to contribute like this to the team.
Thanks, Gianluca. Go ahead and celebrate.
Celebrate indeed, and that is what the Knights will do. The women victorious last night in the war on I-4. The men tonight, they stay atop the standings in the American. For Andy Wantor, for Thomas Garenzoy, I'm Kit McConico. A great game, but it's ultimately the Knights coming away victorious 1-0 over the Memphis Tigers.